Hi guys, I'm broke again, so fuck going to the theater. I heard Crawl wasn't that great, but I'll hold judgment because it's a monster movie. It's about gators. It looks like a fun movie, so maybe I'll see that one day. Probably not this summer. So anyway, because I'm broke, I just sat home and watched some shit on Netflix, and the first thing I watched was Point Blank. So let's talk about it.
Bad cop, where's your humanity? Good cop, is that just a fantasy?
Point Blank. It was written by Fred Caveye. I think is that how you fucking Caveye? There's a mark over the E. Caveye. I don't give a shit. Caveye. And Adam G. Simon. It was also directed by Joe Lynch. It stars Frank Grillo, Anthony Mackie, and Marcia Gay Harden, among other people. Basically, Anthony Mackie plays a nurse who's got like a baby on the way with his wife, and then he has to be the nurse to this dude who's in like a coma or whatever. Or he's unconscious, he's in the hospital, and he's like wanted for like the murder of like the DA or something. And then apparently his brother kidnaps his pregnant wife and says, hey, you're that nurse, you're gonna bust my brother out of the hospital and bring him to me or your fucking wife dies. And so you've got this B story with like the brother and the pregnant wife. It's like this weird hostage situation where like he doesn't want to hurt her, but she's in a scary situation, and it's stupid. And then you've got the A story, which is Anthony Mackie and Frank Grillo, who is the criminal in this case. And they're just like trying to get this dude's wife back while also obtaining all of this flash drive full of information on dirty cops. And Marcia Gay Harden, she plays the dirty cop. She is the villain of the movie. She is like the dirty cop. Of like all of the dirty cops, she's like the dirtiest, I guess, or whatever. So at least that's what the movie makes it seem like anyway. She's the main antagonist of this movie. This movie is extremely generic in almost every aspect. It's got like just really bland direction and cinematography and lighting. Like the whole thing just looks like a network TV cop drama. It's really average and generic. And just like, that's what a movie looks like, right? This is what it looks like, right? We got shot, reverse shot, that's the movie we make. And I guess that's it. There are some moments of creativity. There's sort of like this in the very beginning, there's like this reverse Ferris Bueller shot, like in Ferris Bueller where he like runs through the house, it's like, and he like runs through the backyard and like says hi to the girls or whatever. Like there's that like whole sequence where he's like running through the house. They do that kind of in here, and they're like playing a punk song in like the very beginning, and Frank Grillo is like running around getting shot at with like a gun, and they do the thing where he goes into the house and you see him go through the house sideways, and it's all like because it's all like punk music, and then like he runs out, he's like smashes through the glass and like rolls over, and like that was a fun little scene, but like it lasts all of like 2 minutes. Not even. It's like that, and then like there's like this one scene where the camera is on like a swivel and it's going around watching Anthony Mackie grab all of these supplies from like this locker room. It's actually not like, I mean like it's basic. Like it's basic as fuck, but at least like there's little subtle hints of creativity in the direction and cinematography there. So the whole thing's not completely bland, but it's pretty bland. A lot of the score music is like stock music. Like it doesn't feel memorable in any aspect. Like it's just like it's stock music. Like they went to like Pond 5 and bought like a $20 pack of like action suspense music and just used that. This movie also has a soundtrack, and none of the music fits with any of the scenes or the tone of the movie at all. Now, I looked up this director, Joe Lynch, who directed another movie that I saw. He only directed one other movie that I saw. He has a bunch of them, but I only saw one of them. And the other one was Everly, starring Salma Hayek, I think. And it's an action movie in an apartment, in a huge apartment complex during Christmas time. And none of the movie feels like a Christmas movie, but they use like Christmas music throughout the whole thing, and none of the music fits the scenes they're putting in. And it's the same thing in this movie. I feel like Joe Lynch it's like a consistent thing with him where the music choices he uses for certain scenes do not match the tone of the film or the scene happening at all. Like it just doesn't work. It doesn't. And I noticed it here, and then I looked at his IMDb, and I'm like, Everly, I'm like, oh, that movie had the exact same issue. I don't get it. Like, it's stupid. Like, it's just like, suddenly there's like, I don't know, some fucking like James Brown song or some shit playing. I'm like, the movie doesn't have this fun, upbeat tone. The movie doesn't have this tone. Like, it's weird how like, it's like, I'm gonna shoot your fucking baby, bitch! And then like the next scene, the literal next scene is like, great balls of fire! Like punching people in the face and shit. Like, it doesn't have that tone consistent throughout the movie, and the music choices for the scenes just don't fit. It's stupid and it's shitty, and it takes you out of it every time. You're like, oh, okay. It's like that scene in Captain Marvel where towards the end, there was like that climactic battle where they play No Doubt's I'm Just a Girl. But it was so jarring in that movie because the rest of the movie didn't have that at all. And then suddenly it was like, I'm just a girl. And fucking, like, she's like kicking people in the face and shit, right? And it's so jarring, it takes you out of that movie because no other scene does that. And also, once they do that, you know she's gonna win the fucking fight. You don't play I'm Just a Girl if she's not gonna beat up this room full of bad guys. Just saying. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about Captain Marvel, I'm here to talk about Point Blank. This movie is like that scene, but consistently throughout the entire fucking thing nonstop. It's fucking weird. Anthony Mackie's okay in this. I thought he acted better in the Striking Vipers episode of Black Mirror. I thought he was a lot better in that than he is in anything in this. He's also a lot better in like Captain America. You know what I mean? Like he's good in other things. He's just not that great here. And it might just be because of the material he's given. It might just be because it's a shitty script. He gave a shitty performance. I mean, I know that happens sometimes. Joe Lynch might also just be a really shitty director. So maybe that's partly on him too. I don't know. It could be a combination of those things, but I know Anthony Mackie is usually not bad in movies, and he's just not very good here. I didn't buy him as like this like nobody like weakling guy who can get his ass kicked, especially since he's in like all these other movies where he's like, you know, kicking people's asses. To see him as a nurse and be like, oh no, and then like get beat up, you're just like, bullshit, fuck you. Like that's not happening. Or like a guy who's never shot a gun before, he's like, and you're just like, oh, come on. Like, I'm not buying it. I don't buy it. Like, I just think he might have been miscast. Like, or if anything, like, I don't get it. Frank Grillo is awesome. I feel like Frank Grillo is great in everything. I feel like he can turn probably the shittiest scripts into at least something workable that he can, like, for a scene that he's in. And I think that shows here too. I mean, the rest of this movie is so generic, so forgettable, so bland, and everyone else in this movie is just, they're there. But Frank Grillo just turns every scene into like his own scene. Like it's the Frank Grillo show in this movie, and it's actually not bad. Like Frank Grillo is really good in this movie. I think he's good at everything, honestly. Every time I see him in something, he's really good. For a subpar movie, Frank Grillo is like really, honestly, the saving grace of this movie. I mean, if it wasn't for Frank Grillo, this would be like literally the shittiest fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. Marcia Gay Harden is in this. She's the antagonist. She's the main antagonist. She's the main bad guy of the movie. She's like the dirtiest cop. I don't like her in this. I don't like her, honestly, in anything she's in. I don't really like her as an actress or actor or whatever. I can't stand her when she's on screen. I don't like her acting. I don't like her presence. I just don't like her. And she's not believable in this either. She just looks like a fat old lady with a badge. Like she's not intimidating. She's not an intimidating villain at all. I really, really cannot stand her. I don't like her in most things I see. I'm not gonna go out of my way and say like, I've seen her in everything. Like no, I've only seen her in a handful of things. But every time she's on screen, even in movies that are pretty good, I don't like her. I just don't like her as an actor. Sorry. She's bad in this. This movie really has also like just a bunch of like really awful dialogue. There's like really, really shitty, unnecessary exposition. Like, for example, Marcia Gay Harden's character is talking to another police officer, and the police officer's like, you know, given our history. And she turns around and goes, oh, what? You mean the fact that we've been fucking on and off for the past 5 years? As if the person she's talking to isn't aware? Like, why would you say that? You know what I mean? Like, why would you go out of your way to mention that if not only for the audience to know that, and also it makes no difference in terms of character development at all. It has no bearing on the story. It's just pointless, horrible exposition, horribly executed exposition. You know, it's like if there was a movie where like a girl's dad was in a coma for the last 10 years and she's talking to her best friend she's known since childhood. And instead of going, hey, so my dad's gonna come home tomorrow. Instead she goes, hey, so you know how my dad's been in a coma for 10 years? Yeah. And you know how we've been friends since like 8th grade, right? Yeah. It's like, why are you mentioning these things if the person you're talking to is already aware of and knows about it? I don't get it. Why mention it at all? Why say that? That's like if I went up to my friend who has muscular dystrophy and went, hey, so you know how you have muscular dystrophy, right? Like, no. He just has to struggle with it every fucking day. Like, it's so stupid. Fuck you. That's retarded. It's just bad writing. It's bad writing. It's really bad fucking writing. It's also like extremely cliche in terms of like the movie beats. Like it's embarrassing. You can see things coming from a mile away. You're like, oh, this is gonna happen. That happens. Yep. Like, oh, they're gonna name the baby after the guy who kidnapped the pregnant wife. They do that. I don't give a shit about spoilers. This movie sucks. I don't give a shit about spoilers. I'm just gonna spoil the whole fucking thing. The wife gives birth at the end of the movie, and then they name the baby after the dude who kidnapped the wife. Why? He's not a good person. It's so stupid. I fucking hate this movie. It's so dumb. So there's a character in this movie called Big D, played by Marquise Moore. And he's supposed to be like this gangster, drug dealer, criminal gangster guy. So his character is like a movie nerd. He's like a gangster, right? He's like, oh yeah, like I'm a gangster, but I'm also trying to like show my crew other movies than Scarface. And so like they're watching like, you know, they're watching like these other like classic movies. And they're sitting there watching a movie and he's like, oh yeah, wait for it. Oh yeah, see, and like, and everyone's like, ah, but like, dude, like you're ruining the movie you're trying to watch. Like you're not building the tension for the movie when you go, wait for it, it's gonna come, like, dude, we're watching the fucking movie. Just shut the fuck up and let us watch the movie and react in our own time. Like, I get you're excited about movies. I get excited about movies too, but I don't interrupt the fucking people who are watching it to go, oh, check this out. Watch what's gonna happen. Look what's gonna happen. What? Look. Hey, like, fuck, I don't do that. Nobody does that. That's stupid. You're ruining the movie watching experience. If this guy was a real fan of movies, he wouldn't be fucking doing that. He wouldn't be talking over the movies like, oh God, it's so bad. It's so fucking stupid. I fucking hate that guy. I hated his character. Like, it's so, oof. So dumb. This movie is entirely predictable and forgettable and just overall just bland and forgettable and shitty. Frank Grillo is the only saving grace of the movie, and I'm giving Point Blank a 2 out of 5. Frank Grillo is literally the only good thing about this movie. Everything else is either just okay or subpar or absolute shit. There's nothing really redeeming about this movie. It is pretty much a waste of time, and if you're gonna watch it, just watch the parts with Frank Grillo, and I guess it's the only parts worth watching. Yeah. The movie sucks. No, it's a slightly better movie though. Ralph Breaks the Internet. Because I watched that too, so let's talk about it.
Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Ralph Breaks the Internet was written by Phil Johnston and Pamela Ribon. It was directed by Phil Johnston and Rich Moore. It stars John C. Reilly, Sarah Silverman, Gal Gadot, and Taraji P. Henson. Wreck-It Ralph 2, or Ralph Breaks the Internet, takes place 6 years after the first film, which is real time because that first film came out in 2012, which blew my mind because I didn't realize how long ago that first Wreck-It Ralph movie came out. And essentially, Vanellope von Schweetz and Ralph, Wreck-It Ralph, are basically just best friends, just enjoying life inside the arcade, just doing a bunch of shit. Vanellope starts lamenting about how things are always sort of boring, and she's getting used to the mundane, about like her life and how everything's just sort of the same and nothing's changing or exciting or new. And Ralph is very comfortable there. Ralph is very comfortable with being everything the same, nothing changing. He's comfortable. He likes that like that. He likes it that way. And Vanellope is just like, nah, I'm getting bored, man. I want to do other shit. And in an effort to, make her game more exciting, Ralph creates a new path in her game. And she drives off the path and it winds up actually wrecking her entire arcade system. And so now her arcade system is broken and is going to get thrown out in a couple of days. So Ralph and Vanellope get this idea of going into the newly installed Wi-Fi adapter to go to the internet and go to eBay to get her a new part for her arcade. And that's their excuse to go to the internet. And while they're there, they get into a lot of hijinks. They learn about the internet, what it is, how it works. Vanellope winds up discovering a new racing game called Slaughter Race. And Slaughter Race is basically like if Mad Max took place in an urban landscape instead of the desert. She's like, holy shit, this is awesome. I can drive anywhere. I can do whatever the fuck I want. This is amazing. Ralph's like, this place fucking sucks. I don't want to be here. And so he's trying to hold her back. She's trying to move on without holding him back. And there's this weird situation going on between them. In terms of animation, I mean, I'm guessing this is just average now, right? Because I mean, the animation looks amazing, right? I mean, you look at places like Disney, Pixar, Illumination to a certain extent, DreamWorks, like their animation is like the best in the business, right? That is state of the art. And so you could say that that animation is average because it's not like better than the latest other animated movie. It's on par with it. It's average. So the animation with these movies is average. And even though it's amazing, it's still average. I'm not seeing anything that I haven't seen in another movie the year before. I mean, there might be small increments in like hair detail and fine like details on like clothing and stuff, but like it's stuff you don't mention when everything's going all fast. I mean, it just looks like the same. It looks the same. There's a lot of really fun sequences in this movie. I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff that happened in the game Slaughter Race. I enjoyed the dark net section of the internet that they travel to. I thought that was really fun and interesting and creepy, and the movie is actually a lot funnier than I anticipated it being a sequel and not the sequel that anybody really wanted it to be. I was kind of going in with just like really minimal expectations, like, oh, this is not going to hold a candle to the first Wreck-It Ralph movie. And it doesn't hold a candle to that first Wreck-It Ralph movie. That first Wreck-It Ralph movie is, in my opinion, kind of a perfect animated movie. I mean, that first Wreck-It Ralph movie is awesome. Like, it even has like that twist at the end where it's revealed that King Candy is Turbo, whatever the fuck his name was, and the old racer from the old arcade. Like, that's an amazing twist I didn't see coming at all. And then using the video game tropes of like, oh, the final boss and like all that, like it was so perfect. And this movie I don't think it's as funny as maybe that first movie. I think where the first movie failed was that it wasn't video gamey enough, right? We're spending a lot of time in like a candy themed video game, so you get a lot of candy puns. And it's like, no one wants candy puns. They want to see video game shit, right? And in this one, it's like, okay, it's a movie about video game characters, but we're not getting video game shit. We're getting internet shit. And it's like, again, none of this is why we want to see this fucking movie. But even though it's not exactly what we want, it's still a enjoyable film. I did laugh quite a bit throughout it. There are a good amount. It's consistently chuckle-worthy. I thought the overall message of the movie was pretty good too. From all the animated movies that I see, I mean, granted, I'm not watching every single one, but from the ones that I see, the subject matter of friendships or just relationships in general and drifting apart and changing as you grow isn't always explored. It touches on the idea of like you can remain friends while drifting apart. You can get to find different interests. People can move away, and I don't recall seeing that message a whole lot in other animated films. However, it's very present in this one, and I think it's a good subject to explore, especially for children who are going to make friends, you know, and eventually they're not going to be friends anymore. And I think it was a really nice message to see in this movie, the whole concept of friends and staying friends while being far apart from one another, or supporting each other even though their interests different from you. You know, it's a good message that I actually wasn't expecting from the movie. Halfway through the movie, I was like, okay, wait, so who's going to be the villain? Like, who's going to be the bad influence? Like, I thought it might have been Yes, the internet video site curator, or is it going to be Gal Gadot's Shank from the Slaughter Race game? Who's going to be the bad influence on Vanellope, or who's going to be the bad influence on Ralph? Turns out they're all good guys, and the bad guy is Ralph. And I really like that, because it's Ralph dealing with his insecurities about not having friends and scared of change. I thought it was really well done overall. Like, the whole message of the film and its execution in terms of its plot are really well done. So it's definitely like a lot better than I was expecting this movie to be in terms of plot and story. Their excuse for going to the internet is serviceable. I mean, it was understandable. Like, oh, okay, they have to fix an arcade machine, so they're going to the internet. It's not just like, oh, internet, let's go. It's more like they have an excuse to go to the internet, and I was okay with the excuse. The movie does like to capture certain quirky video game things, especially in online games. In the game Slaughter Race, they show the player characters and how the way they move, and how like there's always like that one running animation. So no matter if you're moving a very incremental, you know, space, your character's still going to that full run position, and the way they hop around, and the way the move, it looked very real. Like, it looked like I was looking at a you know, an MMO or something. You know what I mean? It was fun to see, and I actually I enjoyed the little quirky video game things they did in that. Once Wreck-It Ralph actually does go to the internet, the movie kind of stops dead to just sort of be like, hey, do you know Facebook? Oh, do you know Pinterest? Hey, do you know Instagram? Oh, hey, look, it's Amazon. Oh, hey, look, it's YouTube. Like, it's that the whole time. Like, and you're just like, no, like, this is stupid. I don't understand why the movie had to create fake websites when it already had the licenses to show the logos and names of the companies that already run the things that it's referencing, right? Like instead of YouTube, they go to BuzzTube, and BuzzTube is the largest video sharing site in the world in this movie. Even though that's not true, in our world, YouTube is. But YouTube exists in the Wreck-It Ralph world. So you're telling me that BuzzTube is bigger than YouTube, but you already have the rights to talk about and use YouTube in your movie, so why not just use YouTube? I don't get it. It's not like there's even like a reference to, like, you know, like, oh, like, we've got to beat YouTube, they're beating us. Like, no, like, they're comfortably sitting at the top of the chain, like, hey, yeah, we're the video curator. They didn't have to mention YouTube. They didn't have to show the YouTube logo in the giant cityscape that is the internet. But they do it, and then they're like, no, this is the site. Like, no, it's YouTube. Like, why don't we just use fucking YouTube? Or like, they go over to this like knockoff AskJeeves.com like place. You have Google right there in the movie. Just use Google. Just have a guy, and instead of being for like, you know, knows it all or whatever it is, just be Google. Like, I don't understand why you had to create fake things alongside the real things that those real things have a monopoly over on the internet, on these fake things. And the fake things are bigger than it doesn't make any sense. Like, just use the things you bought the rights to. I don't get it. And once we get past like the whole like, oh, remember all these websites? It becomes, oh, hey, you're gonna go to the Disney website. And the Disney website is just everything Disney owns all the time, all over the place. Do you guys like Marvel movies? Oh, look, it's fucking Groot. Do you guys like Star Wars? Hey, look, a bunch of stormtroopers and C-3PO. Do you remember all of our old Disney princess movies? Literally all of our old Disney movie princesses are here. Like, it just becomes a big dick contest, and the only person playing is Disney. I will say that the scenes involving the Disney princesses are actually very fun. It uses Vanellope as a way to break down and almost satirize the Disney princesses trope and the Disney princesses type movies, how like they always have to stare into like the ocean and then have like a self-reflective song. And Vanellope is like trying to do this and it's just not working for her. And instead of singing about like finding a kingdom to like call home and be a princess, it's like, oh no, I want to fucking like kick a dart bag in the teeth because I like Slaughter Race. And I just thought like it's very funny the way they do it. It's they're playing on the tropes while utilizing them and satirizing them all at once, and it's actually a lot of fun with those Disney princesses. But it just feels like empty. It just because it's just Disney measuring their dick again. Like you're just like, yeah, we get it, man. We get it. Like, yeah, we see the TIE fighters, we see the fucking princesses, we see fucking Groot. Like, okay, like, all right, whatever. Overall, Ralph Breaks the Internet doesn't hold a candle to Wreck-It Ralph. It just doesn't. Wreck-It Ralph is just a far superior movie from what I can imagine, with a twist and that I did not see coming and genuinely emotional things. I didn't feel the emotion in Wreck-It Ralph 2, or Ralph Breaks the Internet rather. It doesn't have the amazing twists that first movie had. It doesn't have the emotional punches that first movie had. It just feels like the sequel to the movie that no one wanted, and it's whatever. I'm gonna give Ralph Breaks the Internet a 3 out of 5. I probably won't watch it again. It's not bad, but it's not what anybody really wanted, and it's just not. It's not up to what really it could have been. But it's good for what it is, I'll say that. I like the message behind the movie. Thanks for watching my review, guys. If you liked the video, please press the like button. If you would like to subscribe and see more of my reviews, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. I do a new movie review every Monday. I usually, or at least used to, stream a video game on Saturday. I'm gonna try to get back to it. There isn't a recent one, but if you go back, I'm sure you can find a little bit older one. I'm gonna try to do that again, maybe next week or something. You could follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, where I put other movie reviews that I don't review on here that you can read. You can find me on those sites at The Shane Watson. Thanks for watching. See you.